All right, now don't mind the mess of the shop. We've been working pretty hard here. Things are going crazy this winter. But right now we're going to install the Caliber Products Lowpro grip glides on the back of the truck. Helps us load our sleds on, keeps the skis aligned, and they offer a lot of traction for our boots so we're not slipping all over the place. So I'm going to show you what we did. A couple things we did with our deck too, pretty cool. And a lot of you have had questions about how we put this deck on. You know, you're worried that the weight of the sleds are going to collapse the sides and all that kind of stuff, and that the slides won't go in and out very easily, but we made things actually work out pretty well. Keely worked his magic with the welding, so it looks pretty cool. So let's get that done now. Pretty mild out. We're going to close up the shop anyway. Do that. Big warm front came in, dropped a lot of rain on us. Not very nice, but you know, good news is, up at my camp, it's all snow. A lot of you were saying that they're not going to slide very easily, but you know what? They actually work pretty well. We don't have any issues with that. One thing I have to do, we do need to put mesh up here because my ski does just slip right underneath. And I don't want to take up my rear windshield. Now, check this out. You know, we didn't have any structure underneath here before when we shot our original video, but right now this thing is very well secured. We put this aluminum I-beam all the way in on both sides, put these V-braces in. Trust me, this thing is going to be able to handle the weight of the UTVs and these sleds no problem. Everybody was wondering what kind of ramp we used or made. And I made them so they were curved. Keely actually welded these up. I wanted them curved so when the UTVs pull up that they're not going to high center here in the middle. So this nice little curve on there, they should be able to roll right up on it. These ramps are overbuilt. They're 10 feet long, but that's the way we wanted them. Overbuilt for sleds, but just perfect for a 1,500-pound UTV. I already went ahead and I put on the Lowpro grip glides on one of these ramps so you can see what they look like. And I also put them on one side of the sled deck. This is what we were originally using, but you know what? Driving up and down on those isn't very good. The traction on them is pretty horrible. And on these here, you can actually just walk up and down on them. And even with the snow on them, they actually work pretty well. I can't believe how much traction you do get on them. If I tried that on those, I'm going to kill myself. And on here, they're really good as well. Same product on top of the deck. Now what I like about those is that when I am coming up, if I'm not quite straight on, you can actually sort of turn your skis and you can direct yourself where you want to go. You can't when you're in here because your carbides or your runners get stuck in there. So you're sort of more or less committed when you're coming up on top. So I'm going to take off these old guides, install the new ones. We're going to install the new Lowpro grip glides on this side of the deck as well. It's going to look pretty good. It's going to work great. Now, everything you're going to need to install your Lowpro grip glides from Caliber, located in your box here. Now, there are many retailers that actually sell these products, but I got mine through kimpex.ca. They have everything in stock that you're going to need for this project. And everything that we need comes in that box. Right now, we need to get these old guides off of here. Keely did a great job on these ramps. I know a lot of guys were like, oh, you know, those aren't going to be able to support your sleds, and you're going to collapse your box sides. I know they would, but that's why we put all that support underneath there, which is probably overkill. But that's just the way we roll. All right. We'll do this ramp first. So the way we did that other ramp was we sort of left a little bit of extra flap on the top, so it just guides the ski right over. Now you're going to pre-drill your hole here for your screw. And when you're installing these Lowpro grip glides, you need to use this little bushing here that slides right inside this little track that's on your glide itself. You're not going to completely tighten it up because that allows this to expand. Everything's in a bit of a state of motion with the hot and the cold cycles that it goes through. So if you were to just tighten everything up, you would run into issues. You know, this way it's going to move, and this expands and contracts. That's going to be good. Go. Now, a lot of guys say, why are you always wearing gloves? I deal with a lot of harsh chemicals at work. This isn't my main job, right? So I'm always touching nasty chemicals. I come here, I touch nasty chemicals as well. You know, I want to be around and enjoy my old age with my kids. So I want to make sure that I look after myself. I don't want those carcinogens touching my hands, being ingested. It's not a good thing. So wear your gloves when you're working with hydrocarbons, oils, fuels, solvents, all that stuff. It's good for you. Now up here, I'm not going to be able to use one of the little bushings, but this part will stay fixed. And everything else around it will move. It'll still move this way here and that way there. Right on. And that's it. Easy job. Install more. Look at that, perfectly spaced out. One here, one up here. It's going to be great. Now we could have gone out, bought a sled deck, and it wouldn't have cost much more. Maybe about another $1,000 or so, but you know, Keely did a great job on this deck, and I can tell you it's overbuilt. He did a great job on this, so we're pretty happy. And you know what? We like to do things ourselves here. It's easy to go out and buy things all the time if you have the money. Sometimes it's, you know, pride of work kind of thing. Just go out and do it yourself. I need my son here to pass me these little screws. There's a little calculator or configuration chart right on Caliber Products website. So it's going to help you out, make life easy for you. I know for me it's a bit of a pain in the butt. I'm trying to do all these calculations and such. And if you have a problem, you can always give them a call and they'll help you out. Really nice guys. I've spoken with them a few times. Very easy to deal with. I always see them at the Toronto Snowmobile, Power Sports and ATV show. Very nice, very knowledgeable, and doing what they can to help us out with our projects, you know. There we go. For us, the big rush is to get these things on because we've got a good day of riding tomorrow. Up north, it's been all snow for the last 2 days. So we get to rock and roll in the backcountry. It'll be fun. Now with these ramps, as you can see, to make this curve, Keely just came in with a saw, made a bunch of different cuts here, bent it, didn't quite go through all the way with the saw obviously, bent it, welded them all up, and then put a piece of plate underneath here, welded that up. Very, very tough actually. Now they're big ramps. You got to wonder how we store them, right? Well, what we do is we put them in between the sleds and strap them down. Generally speaking, a lot of guys like to stick them in the back of the deck, but they're underneath here. I didn't want that because I didn't want all the snow and all the stuff going in there, getting all our gear dirty. So this way we have it nice and open in there. We get to put everything in and keep it all nice and dry and clean. Now, if you're wondering about how the track is guided up here, this is what we made for that. That's it. We just clamp it on, run the sleds up, break it down. We've got it all wrapped up in about 5 minutes. We can load the sleds. This does go underneath the bed, but it goes up on top. I made a little spot there. Slides up, doesn't really get in the way of anything. So that's it. That's our ramp. I'm just using a bit of a spacer here. I did the same on the other side. And all it does is keeps this out, keeps it aligned where I want it. The reason I'm doing that is, if I were to slide that right in there like that, I mean, it's pretty much this much space is wasted. My slider or my runner carbide will never touch that. So I might as well space it out a little bit. That's what this is doing. And I don't need to go all the way up to the front because my runner, my carbide doesn't go all the way up there either. So I'll start at the back, work my way up. Now when you're installing these, because of the expansion that we talked about earlier, you want to make sure you have about 3/8 of an inch in between these. You'll actually see them on some days. They'll be closer and a little looser at times because of the temperature outside. And this one here, a little too long, so I'm going to have to cut it in half. Right on. So from the other side, I measured up 4 inches. So when the ski comes up, it actually comes down right about here. So no sense running it all the way to the back. And this is basically the same technique as we used on the ramps. You don't want to over tighten these, you want to make sure that they're still loose. The screws are going to hold them in place. There's plenty of meat on these. And that pressure treated wood. I get about 400 emails a day, emails and comments. And when I do my best to get back to everybody, but it's pretty tough because there are a lot. And with YouTube's new format, I'm not able to respond to everybody's questions, unfortunately. I don't know why. I don't know what they did to that. I think you have to become a Google Plus member. Then I can respond when I can. But it's pretty hard to hit everybody. I apologize if I haven't responded to you. So this is your fixed point. Everything spreads in and out from here, from the center. So these ones are okay to screw in all the way. Right on. Do the next one. So that's about 3/8 of an inch right there. And some of you have been saying, if you just take a little bit more time on your work and do some more stuff and, use this and that and brackets and tidy things up, it's going to look a lot better. Well, yeah, it is, but I don't have any time. For me to get here takes me about an hour and a half every day to the shop. It takes me 2 hours to get home in rush hour traffic. I only have the cameraman, Simon, here, or Jamie, 1 day a week if I'm lucky. And I still have to do all the kids' stuff. And I still have my regular job, which takes up a lot of time as well. So I don't have time to clean all the odds and ends up. We get done what we can to get on the trail, because we want to ride. Next. And I appreciate everybody's suggestions, because you have a lot of good ones. There's no doubt about it. I do not know everything about everything. A lot of times I'm learning this as I go. Pass on the information to you guys. Help you guys out. It's looking awesome. What I really like about this sled deck, we don't have the trailer anymore. Keeps the sleds up nice and high, and for the most part keeps all the salt and the grime, the road grime off. When you're trailering, the wheels just throw the stuff all over the sleds. Even if you have them covered, it's a bit of a nightmare. Looks horrible. With the clamshell trailers, it's pretty good, of course, but not everybody has one of those. All right, now for this one, I'm just going to cut this right in half. Now, after using these for a while, I've been running my sled up and down these, I don't know, probably about 10 times on the other ones. I can barely see any marks in them from my carbides, which is pretty amazing. So it's obviously made out of a very good material. That's it. Looks good. I'm just going to do that other side now. And then we're done. Okay. I remember the years of loading sleds on and off of trucks and trailers and never having this kind of luxury. Makes a big difference. done this, we get to do the trailer. I just caught a ski again, pulling the Elan onto the trailer, a little clamshell, and it more or less just took the ski and turned it right into the other one. Not a good thing. So I'm going to show you what we're going to use to fix that problem. Keely busted up his $1 million smile last year. He was loading my 540 Elan into the clamshell as well. And it's more or less his fault because he was out riding the 540, he caught a tree, bent the front of the ski up, and the carbide sort of stuck straight down. When he was loading it into the trailer, he drove it right into the trailer and his face went into the handlebars. It wasn't good. Almost looked like he cried a little, but he didn't. He held it together. I was bugging him. But I didn't laugh too hard at the time that it happened because of the blood. But later on, I laughed a lot. You can't even see the carbide marks, but just barely from running them up on here. And they're sharp. I've gone over them with the bite harder sharpening tool. And that's it. Look at that. Slick. Now there are a couple other different things we can do. A lot of guys are asking me for old snowmobile tracks, a little bit of traction to help them pull their sleds onto trailers or onto their truck. Caliber came up with a solution for that. They're called grips. These just simply screw onto your deck, onto your trailer, and they provide the traction you need to help you load your sled on those slippy days. Now for us, we're going to have a pretty tricky time because our sides are telescopic, so we can't install them on here. But we can on the trailer, and that's where we're going to do that. And for your trailer, this is what I was talking about earlier, so you don't smash your face into the handlebars on your sled. They have these edge glides. These are simply hinged. You lower them down, run your sled up, no problem. Flip them up inside, close the clamshell, you're good to go. So we're going to install those, install these on the trailer. Make sure you guys come back for more. Great company to work with. When you want to buy these, you can get them at Kimpex or any one of their authorized dealers. I got to thank you guys for coming back. Make sure you check us out on Facebook for cool promos and giveaways.